Hi, thanks for tuning in. I'm Reverend Mi Ling. This is my official YouTube channel. I've been known by a few names. Been known by Susan Mi Ling, Reverend Susan Mi Ling, Reverend Mi Ling, Lady Mi Ling, Lady Dory Bell, so on and so forth. So, I am on my way. I've left my apartment to be able to go drive to Washington State to go pick up my Medal of Honor art project pieces, the two biggest ones this far. So I'm really excited because, realistically, it's my Medal of Honor art project, so I've kind of really been excited about it each time I've been able to go on the different trips and do the different things and so on and so forth. What was really exciting for me, other than the trips themselves and going out to the different locations, was also in reference to the fact that when I was done with the artwork part of it, I would be able to, go and get it encased in glass, which meant that the guys at McClendon's would get to see that sort of stuff. And at the exact same time, when getting it back from McClendon's and it was encased in glass, then I could show my son. And my son, James Michael, got to look over the different pieces and see the commendations that I found online, despite certain issues that I hadn't known were a thing. And so while my, excitement and all that for the various aspects of, it was one of those, I got to show my son what these guys had done and what they had accomplished, not just for, whatever war they were involved in, but also in reference to how many guys they were able to save. How much further they were able to assist the progression of whatever mission they were on, whatever group that they were with, and so on and so forth. And it was one of those, I thought it was a really good way to show a multitude of things, and obviously not just for my son, but in that regard, where I could show him, this is what these guys did. This is where, our constitutional rights come from. And with that, and in reference to the markers and specifically, there was no, because of the current events at this current point in time, of it being the 8th of June, 2020, the aspects of every war that the Medal of Honor has been able to be awarded. And, it's the top medal that you can earn in the United States of America's Armed Forces, any of the branches, not just one branch, all of the branches. Like, for example, in the Navy, they have like the Navy Cross. And so, that's like the top award, if I'm accurate, in the Navy for a wartime effort to keep guys safe, as far as like Navy only awards, whereas the Medal of Honor is just slightly higher for different reasons and stuff like that. And so, teaching my son, the different aspects in regards to, look, unfortunately, there are times in the history of the United States of America and throughout the world, but, in reference to United States of America's history, obviously there are portions of the various times where there has had to be war. And, these are guys who earned the top award, of course, in reference to my Medal of Honor art project. However, at the exact same time, you don't want to have to go to war. But, you know, if it's absolutely mandatory, you never know who it is that's among your ranks that's going to be the cream of the crop, where you don't even have the slightest, you know, idea, understanding, until, you know, when the cards fall and everything, you know, hits the fan, and what is necessary to have, you know, to be taken care of to keep the safety of the unit, the brigade, the battalion. I think I'm switching up the sizes, the base, so on and so forth. And so, you know, where before I started my Medal of Honor art project, he did have respect because I taught him that. You know, he had respect for the law enforcement, respect for the fire department, respect for EMS, and respect for the different military branches and divisions. And then it was one of those, okay, let me make sure you understand why. You know, and in regards to that, it was also, look, these guys don't always make it back. You know, there are guys who earned the Medal of Honor posthumously. Like, there were discussions that I had with him, and he was like, what do you mean posthumously? And I said, you know, after whatever happened as far as things occurred, and then, you know, after the soldier had passed away, that's when they wound up earning the Medal of Honor. And he looked at me and he was like, well, I don't know if I like that. And I said, well, you know, sometimes that occurs. There are multiple Medal of Honor recipients who earned the Medal of Honor and survived. Not without scars, but, you know, they survived. And so, you know, the saying of freedom is not free, it is very truthful. You know, for example, the Medal of Honor recipients. And so at this point of the discussion that I had with him, I had completed the first 35 Medal of Honor recipient artwork pieces. It was the first year I'd worked on Washington State. And so I showed him, you know, after they were encased in glass and stuff like that. And I said, look, you know, these guys, the majority of them died in action, or KIA, because of what was done and what was necessary at the time. But look what they were able to accomplish, look what they were able to do, so on and so forth. Of course you want to live, of course you want to survive, but understand that our constitutional rights, and not just the Constitutional Bill of Rights, but also, you know, the freedoms that we have, the ability to go where we get to go, and the safety we have are because of guys like this. And you don't always get to hear about that, and, you know, I think that it should be more well known. Point being, you know, it is important to learn from that. And my son, you know, being a teenager, well, okay, Mom. And I was like, no, it's not just okay, Mom. It's, you know, this is important. You need to understand that just because, you know, you have the ability to do all these different things, stuff that I never got to do when I was a child. I mean, realistically, in a lot of different ways. But the point being is, these guys who earned the Medal of Honor, they were able to not only assist things, but you don't know the exact number of guys who wound up surviving because of what happened, because of what they did, because of what they sacrificed. And so when you hear that saying, freedom isn't free, it realistically is true. When you hear the saying, you know, blood, sweat, and tears, absolutely is true. And so, you know, as I'm on my way to go pick up my Medal of Honor artwork pieces, I'm really excited. Oh, so excited. However, at the exact same time, it's one of those, well, you know, I'm going to have plenty of time to do different videos, of course. And so with that, you know, I just figured I'd start off the first official YouTube channel of mine, Reverend Me Ling, on that particular point. So you guys have a good one. Comment, like, share, and subscribe to my official YouTube channel. And